It's such a shame when your favourite jumper gets a hole in it, whether it's been caught or it's from silverfish. It's a shame to throw it away. So what I'm going to do here is just use a standard needle and thread. And I'm actually going to use white thread so that you can see what I'm doing. And of course, if this was done in a thread colour similar to the jumper, you wouldn't see the repair at all. Now what I'm doing is I'm pushing the needle through the ribbing in the middle of the ribbing. In other words, you can't see the thread on the underside and you can't see it on the top side. It's going through the middle. And then you're going to actually, so you're going to go across so that we're actually bringing those piles or those rows together. The needle is right next to the first row, and you can see that I sort of give it just a slight pull. It's not too tight and it's not too loose, and you can see that I'm just weaving in and out again through the knit. It's sort of in and out, in and out, in and out, and it's actually going through the middle. And give it a slight pull. Now you can see, you can hardly even see that stitching, so if that thread was the same colour, you wouldn't see it at all. So again, see how I'm going up and down with the needle so that I'm going right through the middle. Bringing it through. Give it a slight little tug, very gentle. When you get to a section where the knit is perhaps even frayed, or actually where there's a loop where the knitting was created, try and put the needle through the middle of that loop so that you stop it from unraveling any further. And if there's any section of the knit that's slightly frayed, try to push it towards the back rather than let it come in through to the front. So when you're repairing something like this, you should be looking at it on the right side so that you can see exactly what you're doing and how it's working. You'll see that I'm working the needle just backwards and forwards, right next to the previous stitch. And of course, when I get to the point where the hole is just a little bit bigger than where I was just a little bit further down, I'm actually going to go through now and just grab that top section and make sure that I get through any loops that are in the knit so that I make sure that it actually doesn't continue to unravel. So, and where you can actually see the white thread there, that's because that hole was quite big. Now we're going to go down now. So once you've gone across and there's no more holes that you can see there, now you're going to work down. See how I'm working the needle up and down, up and down, up and down. So I push it up and down, up and down, up and down, weaving it through so that it's right through the middle of that stitching. And we're doing this so that we actually, if you were using a thread that was the same colour or similar colour, even if it was black, it would work on this garment, so that you're actually keeping that line of the ribbon. You can see how the rib sort of goes down, so you want to keep that downward movement. So what I mean by that is that I'm keeping a horizontal and vertical stitching as I'm going through, as I'm weaving through, so that it keeps with the weave of the garment. So you can see how I'm moving the needle up, down, up, down, up, down. Now there is one section here where I actually move a little bit, and I do come out of view, but even though you can't actually see what I'm doing, I'm going to bring it back in a second just to show you how the needle is placed. So basically I'm just going back up the same way as I did before and beside it, giving it a slight pull. And now just put the needle in and go right through to the back, and then knot it off to finish it. So if you just run it through half of the knit and then through again, and then just run your needle through that knot, loop, sorry, and it'll knot off. And then you can clip it. And if you have a look at it on the other side, once I turn it over, you'll see that even though I use white thread, the hole has been repaired. I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to repair a hole in a jumper, and that you can now go and repair your jumpers with confidence. One thing that silverfish don't like is cedar, so you could, if you put cedar balls, or if you know someone who's building a house, they've got cedar offcuts or anything like that, put them in your wardrobe and it should keep them away. Happy sewing!